afternoon to everybody. Welcome to the webinar Drive Successful Digital Transformation Without Creating New Legacy. I'm Simone Brandimarte. The webinar today is in English, and we are quite pleased to introduce you the three speakers of today. The first one will be Paolo Fedele, Senior Manager Business Development from Tractable. Then will be Gisbert Cox. I am really sorry to pronounce not correctly his name. I thank you, Gisbert, for his participation together. He is industry leader insurance Europe from Appian. And then we have Michaela Morari, also from Appian, solution sales consultant. I will introduce the webinar of today, telling once again what is happening really in the industry today. Insurtech is not really just connected to few keywords like blockchain, pay-per-use, on-demand, big data, IoT, but is mostly connected to the rise of the new digital insurance customer. Today represent around 30% of the target for the insurance industry. 2010 it was just 12%. It is expected to be 80% by 2030 and 100% by 2040. So a new customer. This new customer, this new client is not happy of the current insurance offer. He believes that it lacks in terms of personalization, transparency, accessibility, speed, and is looking for a new kind of offer that is more in line with this requirement. So there is a big gap between the current offer and the new demand. This is an opportunity to create new products, new relational model, new customer journeys. The second element is the entry of new actors that are very active in projecting, implementing, and upgrading their digital insurance solution together with their traditional offer. So from large distribution to retail to telcos to utilities to large internet giants, they're all planning to include one or more insurance products in their offer. It is called open insurance and will enable the reach of new targets in a very systematic and continuous way. So this is the second major change. The third major change, and we have to confront with new socioeconomic trends, new ecosystems that are raising different needs that 5-10 years were not there, like local mobility, multi-mobility, micro-mobility, health ecosystem, IoT, connected device, sharing economy, the pet economy, sport and well-being. There are new needs that are not satisfied by current insurance offer. This is another large opportunity, and for these three reasons, rise of new customer, emerging of new distribution actors and new socioeconomic trends, the insurance industry is facing a large digital revolution. It is not just a question of distribution, but has implications on marketing and offer, on underwriting, on distribution, on claims management, and on customer management. There are new major investments to be done. There are new skill sets to be created. There are new partnerships to be built. All this is happening, to be honest, and if you consider the investment in Insurtech startup, we can come out with a proxy of how much major geographies are investing in Insurtech. In 2019, there were $6.8 billion invested in Insurtech startups, but unfortunately, major of them were done in North America, with growing in Asia and with the third place in Europe. But the worst news is that in Europe, investment done in Italy in the last decades were around 1 on 9 on UK and Germany. So that means, guys, we are well behind. But not only in terms of investment, but also in terms of quality and priority. If you look at the analysis of the Italian Insurtech Association on the major managers in large insurance corporations, we can find that only 5% them believe that open insurance is distribution priority, confrontation of 35% respect to Western Europe. And if you consider that Insurtech as a priority, just 15% versus 65%. So there is a gap. And this gap needs to be filled with, let's say, investment, with development of skill set, and with technology partnership. Exactly for this, we have invited 3 speakers that will help us to understand what can be done in order to accelerate this trend. That as hopefully I've been able to represent is not a nice to have, but it's a must. So I want to introduce you Paolo Fedele, Senior Manager, Business Development from Tractable. Please, Paolo.
Hi, Simone. Hi, everyone. So yeah, thank you so much for your word, Simone. Definitely, you know, in my experience so far, I work for Tractable. We are leading Insurtech based out of London and implementing Visual AI across the world. My experience has been that innovation is never really only about the technical feasibility of it, but it's often about the people driving it. And so I do really value the work that the association is doing because hopefully this over the next couple of years will really represent sort of an accelerator for the adoption of Insurtech in Italy. So thank you so much for the invitation and for the valuable work that you're doing. So what I want to do today is really talk to you more about Tractable, who we are and what we do. And in particular, I actually want to keep the session very, very pragmatic. I want to use 3 use cases and case studies from our, you know, current client base of how Visual AI can support insurers in driving digital transformation and building what one might call the ultimate digital claim journey. So very briefly, Tractable, based out of London, is a company that develops computer vision algorithms with the mission of taking breakthroughs from the lab, and so from example from the computer vision departments of universities such as Oxford and Cambridge, taking the breakthroughs and applying them to the real world to really drive innovation and create value in the real world. And in particular, what we do, we build algorithms to assess auto damage with the intention of taking a process that historically takes time, resources, and skills, those of a perito, that are, you know, increasingly more rare in the market, and for a good set of a subset of claims, transitioning this to a process that is, you know, deployed at a much cheaper price point, almost instant, and through algorithms that are going to be very consistent time over time, and that can scale easily to 100% of insurers' claim volumes. Very briefly, like before, talking about the use cases, like Tractable today is a company that's actually in use and in production with some of the largest insurance companies in the world. We are present in several markets. And on the right side in this slide, you can see some of our public clients, which includes companies such as Tokio Marine in Japan, which is #1 P&C insurer in Japan and one of the top 10 insurance groups in the world, or Covia, who is the #1 in France, insuring 1 every 4 auto claims. We are present in Italy as well, and hopefully over the next couple of months, we'll be also like sharing some pretty exciting news with regards to our partnership with our first 2 insurance partners in Italy. And the 2021 is a year where we see a tremendous amount of opportunity for growth and acceleration of the adoption of our technology in Italy. So what I want to do today is really show you in a very pragmatic way how our technology can be used. So if we simplify the claim workflow, starting from FNOL, going to say a network body shop or a body shop where the car will be damaged, through the step of loss adjustment, either through in-house loss adjusters, authority or external authorities, and then finally settling. Our technology, which is really very much comparable to the expertise of a perito, can fit into 3 different places. It can fit in the hands of the policyholder, and that's the example of what Admiral is doing in Spain. It can fit in the desktop of a carrozzeria convenzionata, and we'll talk about that in the case of Provia in France. Or it can be used to augment the loss adjustment team, which is what we do in Japan with Tokyo Marine. So starting off with Admiral Seguros. So what we do with Admiral Seguros, and this is, by the way, a use case that we see a great fit for the Italian market as well. Policyholders have an accident. Through a web app or any means of actually capturing pictures, we can also work with a native app of the insurance company. The policyholder captures pictures near FNOL, right after FNOL, or when they're opening the claim. And through these pictures, we create an automated estimate, so an autoperizia, that can then be sent to the insurance company or directly to the client to drive what we might call instant cash settlement, potentially touchless, without the intervention of a perito or without the intervention of a liquidatore. So the way it works in the back end, I'm going to be showing you just a video. And by the way, after the meeting, I'll be very happy to also set up an actual demo of the solution. But the way it works is that the policyholder is taking pictures. These pictures are captured through a web app that guides the policyholder through the process of taking these pictures. We normally ask for 4 corner shots and 3 pictures of the damage. And as you can see, the AI, the nice thing about the AI is that the AI can provide live feedback to the user. So for example, if we realize that the policyholder has not captured a 360 view of the vehicle, through the AI, we can actually provide that feedback right away to the policyholder, so that the policyholder is sort of like, guided and policed, if you will, to take good quality pictures to start with. After taking the pictures are then uploaded onto the cloud, which is really where, so to say, the magic of AI takes place. So what we do is, we have developed algorithms that have learned from millions and millions of historical cases to make repair decisions, just like a perito would do. And so first thing we do, we look at the pictures. We analyze what parts are present in the pictures. So in this case here, of course, this is in English, but we fully support, of course, Italian estimates as well. But we identify the parts. So for example, these are the parts that have been identified as a step 1. And then as a step 2, we assess the severity of the damage. And as I mentioned, this has been learned from, a huge data set of historical cases where, peritos have made these predictions on similar images. And through the power of machine learning, the AI is learning to make the same predictions on any future cases. As you see here, our technology today is able to automate basically all of the steps of an estimate, including stacco di attacco, lattoneria, verniciatura, and we bring it together into an auto repair estimate that can then be used by, for example, the liquidatore as a first step to make an offer right away based on the pictures provided by the client. so that the client can receive an offer within 24 hours, and the claim can be settled right there without, for example, having to go to like a carrozzeria. And we see that that creates a massive amount of value, not only in terms of customer experience, but also in terms of controlling cost, because a claim that's settled based on pictures right away tends to also be a claim where the cost is controlled compared to a claim that instead goes to the body shop, goes to the carrozzeria, that tends to then perhaps inflate some of the cost. So this is the first use case with Admiral, taking pictures, creating autoperizia, and using it to drive cash settlements or to triage the claim. The second use case is instead with Covia. Now, Covia, as I mentioned, is the largest insurance company in France, and they actually treat almost 900,000 claims per year, and they have a big network of network body shops, carrozzerie convenzionate. And what we do there is that we actually interface directly with the garage, so the carrozzeria. And what happens is that through a portal to exchange data between insurance company and body shops, the body shop uploads pictures and estimate, so preventivo. And based on pictures and estimates, we assess whether the decisions that were taken by the body shop are justifiable. So for example, we look at, say, the front bumper, and we see if the body shop has replaced it, whether that decision to replace it is indeed justifiable and it's indeed the right decision. And based on this, we give a live feedback to the body shop. And what this does is two things. First, we are giving more autonomy to the body shops to actually approve their claim and process claims faster, which has, of course, positive impact on their bottom line, as well as on the experience of the policyholder. But then secondly, we also give this instant feedback, which is, almost like a live coach, that over time, Covia and every insurance company also in Italy can use to sort of, police the network of body shops and just identify, for example, the very good body shops that tend to comply with the standards of the insurance company, and then also identify those that perhaps need more training through the rete fiduciari and through the gestione fiduciari. So we are able to approve claims faster, and we give this feedback to the body shop and to the insurance company about the performance of the network body shops. Finally, last example is in Japan. Now, this is a theme that is also consistent with what we are hearing from Italian clients, and that is when you look at the market for peritos, for experts, it's a market that's quickly aging, and insurance companies are actually struggling to find the next generation of auto experts. Okay, the current ones are retiring, and there isn't really a good generational exchange with new ones coming into the market. And so using experts wisely becomes very, very important. And what we do with Tokio Marine is that before an expert, for example, an internal loss adjuster, so Tokio Marine has internal authority that reviews claims from body shops, before they even touch that claim, we review on behalf of the insurance company, and we triage claims into the claims that actually are simple enough and where there is no anomaly, such that this can be straight through processed through a visual assessment that's done by the AI, and those that instead require attention from the experts because there is anomalies, because they are potentially complex claims, so that the experts are really used to wisely and maximize the impact of their work. So this sort of closes it, the three examples that I wanted to share. We've seen one example with policyholders, one example with carrozzerie convenzionate, and one example with internal loss adjusters. The three levers that we're acting upon across the board are really effectiveness, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. So effectiveness is really the idea that through AI, we can review 100% of the estimates and support insurance companies in keeping the cost under control. Second, in terms of efficiency, is really, say, doing more with less, which means that we can automate the simple claims so that the shrinking workforce can actually focus on the ones that really matter. So reducing the operational and processing cost on claims. And finally, is really driving a superior customer experience in terms of a drastic reduction in the time to close a claim, which is really like driven by the instance assessments of the AI across the board. So this is it. I'm going to be, of course, very happy to take questions at the end of the meeting, and then, of course, also schedule any follow-ups with the live demo of our solution. For now, thank you so much for listening in, and I will be passing it over now to Gisbert.
Thanks, Paolo. That was great. Due to some technical issues, Michaela, my colleague, will share my slides. So thanks for doing that. You'll see those in a minute now. And yeah, what we want to talk about is actually what Appian is, but also how that can support you in developing applications that are useful for you, and to really bridge that gap in the innovation that Simone talked about, and enabling you to combine the legacy with great solutions like Tractable has been showing, and other technologies that are out there in the market. And I have some visuals. Michaela, are you able to?
Yes, Gisbert, just waiting for the.
Excellent, they're coming up here. Yeah, so you can show the next slide, Michaela, because just to give you an idea of what we are Appian, and just to clarify that, I will explain first what Appian is, and then Michaela will actually, after my presentation, will actually show you the real thing in action. Because we have a platform where you can build your applications really, really fast, as I said. And it is a low code. So whatever you build is actually not only you can deliver it fast, and it is with speed and power, but it also allows you to remain agile. And I'll come back to that a few times to explain what I mean with that. When you develop applications, they can look like this. And when you develop them, they are instantly available on tablets and mobile apps. Just a bit about our background. We started in the US. We have our headquarters in Washington, DC, but we have a very large presence in Europe as well, with offices in London, but also Milan, Madrid, Frankfurt, Paris, and Amsterdam. And what makes us different is that we are a Triple Crown leader for Gartner in low code, BPM, and case management. And the combination of those three is quite unique, and that can deliver you really the speed and power that I was talking about, and tackle the complexity that we have in the insurance market. So let's zoom out a little bit. What the challenges are in the insurance market. I mean, Simone talked about it already, and this has been a crazy year for all of us, obviously. But there are also, even before COVID hit us, there were like three elements of change that really puts pressure on us as insurance companies. First of all, the technologies that are out there, fantastic developments in in Insurtech, as Paolo touched on, but also there are great technologies like AI. We're investigating Internet of Things. We're looking at blockchain, all fantastic developments. But you might have a question on, okay, so it's actually a challenge how to connect that into my existing organization, and how do I do that in a correct way? Secondly is the pressure of the customers, right? And Simone explained you already a slide of how they actually put more demand on the insurers. And yes, the customer are becoming more digital savvy. And in this COVID period, it has only put that in a pressure cooker. And what you want to do is actually deliver service to this customer and raise the bar, but also give you the make sure that whatever you enable for them is actually not only omni-channel, but also consistent in those channels, right? And that's, if you think that through, that's quite a challenge to make sure that all the data that you capture in through those channels are consistent with each other. So whether they can contact you with a chatbot and then decide to call you up later, that they still have the visibility of that same data. And Michaela shows you a way later on in a demo how we can enable that. And last but not least, let's not forget about the regulations, right? The pressure on privacy rules, but also IFRS 17 is around the corner. All demands on in terms of regulation and compliance that is not only being put on you, but also changing. So you need to remain agile to make sure you meet those demands. And if you and you can click this through a little bit, Michaela, because it's building up. And if I paint a picture of what an insurance company looks like in terms of IT architecture, then I would draw this picture, and you might recognize this. This is what I've been facing when I was operations manager at Hiscox and Partner Re for 15 years. We have a fantastic collection of systems here, but we created insurance companies really in a siloed way, right? So we have policy departments, the claims department, the billing, and the systems within there over the years have, we've collected multiple policy systems and multiple claim systems. So, and not only that is our data is dispersed, but we also have connections with our partners, our MGAs, that data needs to come in and the reporting needs to come out. And also we want to collaborate with brokers in the market, our partners, and that's number one here on this picture. We want to show them the book of business, which sits in multiple systems here, right? And the demo that Michaela will show will actually touch on that. And if you think about Insurtech, then the question is, okay, so to which process do I really need to connect this, right? And do you want to bolt it on to a policy system number 2 or a claim system number 1? Or do I really need something that orchestrates this whole thing on top of it? And that's where you can see Appian sit, actually. That sits there in the middle. And some partners of ours call us digital glue. That's maybe a funny word to explain what we can do, but we can really deliver you the end-to-end processing that you need. So it's a different dimension than what you need in handling your insurance business. And also gives you that agility, right? Because what's new next year in terms of Insurtech, we don't know yet. And you might want to jump into that and use that. So I mentioned agility a few times and that we can deliver that. If you look into our platform and look at what we actually consist of, then it's actually 3 elements that ensure that you can remain agile if you use it. First of all, we invest a lot in low code. We develop objects and we compare ourselves sometimes with Lego. We allow you to build quickly, right? We have developed the Lego bricks and you can build your application really, really fast. And that's 20 times faster than than doing that with normal coding. And you could ask yourself also whether you have enough IT developers at hand to develop the applications that you want. Secondly, what we have is full stack automation. What we mean by that is functionality within that platform, allowing you to orchestrate your process and really jump into automation. So things like workflow, case management, but we also have technologies like robotic process automation and AI. And you can use our robotic process automation features, but we easily can connect to things like Blue Prism or UiPath for Automation Anywhere, which are partners from ours. And then last but not least, the data. We can bring that into the platform and enable that in the application, because we know it sits across many systems and you can leave it there. You do not have to migrate it to the platform. You can leave it where it sits in the golden sources. It will get used in the application that you build on Appian, but you can bring it back and it's going straight through. It will be automatically updated in the systems of record. So there's no synchronization issues. So these are three elements of our platform. And if you look at some of our customers, we've got customers across industries, but in insurance, we have a lot of customers, and I just took out 4 to give you a bit of flavor of how you can use us. For example, CNA is a specialty insurer. They have an issue with servicing their global accounts because they have offices in Chicago, London, Bermuda, and in Europe. And they had not very good visibility on who is servicing which account. So what we've done is actually what CNA has done, they used our platform to create what they call CNA Compass. So they have now one single layer and they can have a visibility of who is working on what accounts. And also when they, for example, handle a risk for a specific policy in Brazil, they get the local regulations to issue that policy. So they achieved a very enormous efficiency globally amongst the underwriters. So that's a fantastic application. Aviva, for example, they were having an issue with customer centricity. When you would call up a call center, the people inside Aviva were frantically looking between 22 different systems to understand who this customer is, what kind of products they have with Aviva. And with Aviva, have developed an orchestration layer, as I explained earlier, on top of those 22 systems, allowing the people to work really fast and have a single platform to see all the customer data and to service them properly. It's been a great success. Aviva is using us now for in 150 processes. They already have used us to automate those processes. And as you can see here, their customer service is not like 9 times faster now than it used to be. Aon as well, they have used us for their end-to-end claims handling, and the first notification of loss, the claims intake, they've developed that in 8 weeks using our platform. So it's a fantastic example of the speed and power that you can use us for. Aegon in the Netherlands as well, they have had a pension system. It was quite antiquated, and they had an issue they thought, okay, we need to replace it or we need to do something with it. We built an orchestration layer on top of it and actually re-innovated their pension system within 2.5 months. So fantastic examples of how to reuse your legacy and to really leapfrog into innovation. And yes, you can build these slides up, please. Yes. So if you summarize how you can use Appian, there's actually 3 ways, and you can use a combination of this. But first of all, you can actually develop your own application really fast. Secondly, you can actually build your specific processes that are on top of your system that you already have. So a good core policy system or claim system, you can build an application on top of it, which benefits you in two ways. You can actually develop what you need really, really fast. And secondly, you can leave your good system intact and do not customize it too much, because then you create new legacy, right? And then it's difficult to follow the upgrades of that good system that you bought. And thirdly, you can orchestrate, really create end-to-end process, as I explained that Aviva is doing, by putting Appian on top of it to bring that data together and design what you want. And that's, you know, you might ask yourself, like, how do you do this? But you all have good ideas of what your application should be, right? What you want to develop today. And that might be something in your mind, and it would look like that. And you can digitize that process using Appian. And once you've done that, you can actually think, hey, maybe the first step, I can use something like Tractable has shown, right? Like use some AI to make it more seamless, that first step. And the second step, you want to route it to some different departments in your organization, and you can use business rules. And maybe the last, as depicted here on the last step, you might, it's maybe a tedious task that constantly comes back and it's the same all over again. You can use robotic process automation. And when you look at your end-to-end process like this, when you use intelligent automation, you can use all the best things that you have, your data from your legacy with new technology, and really create an end-to-end application on Appian. And not only that, you can actually change it quickly as well. So you remain agile. And I think that's a key word for today. So we have lots of use cases where our customers use us for. We also have built a pre-built solution, which is on top of our platform, which is called Appian Connected Claims. We've used what we've learned from working with all our customers, and what we learned from our own experience is that, and we've created a pre-built solution for you, which we call Appian Connected Claims, and that's really giving you an accelerator to jump into innovation, handling your claims, right? A really end-to-end view on claims handling, which touches on first notice of users, fraud, case management, and really has that view of the customer, an end-to-end view. So not only looking at the current claim, but also looking at the claim's history, combining it with the policies that they have, what kind of NPS score that customer has. So really creating that end-to-end view of the customer and the claims at hand and the whole portfolio. And not only that, also allowing you to do litigation and field inspections, and that's using the case management capabilities that are on our platform. And that's where often the claims process is too complex and breaks down, right? But we keep that data in Appian so you have that seamless experience. And last but not least, using the transactional data that we capture in the platform of Appian, you can do process mining, so constantly improving your claims process. So that's just one example. We also had an opportunity to show our capabilities to Forrester, a analyst firm, as you know, and they asked us, like, can you show us what you can do for agent portals? And we showed them how we can integrate that data, what I showed you in the beginning of my presentation, and how you can expose a partner, the book of business of a partner, of an agent, to them, right? And we did that, and Michaela is going to show the that demonstration in a minute. But it is fantastic how we got to this chance to show that to Forrester. And as you can see on the top right-hand corner, we came out very, very strong. And what I also like is in this picture, you see some insurance systems that are out there, all good systems, fantastic, but Appian is more flexible in actually combining the other data that you have in your organization and exposing that to your agents. So with that, I would like to hand over to Michaela, who is going to show you the platform itself. Thank you very much.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Great. Great. So good evening, everybody, and thank you for your time today. I'm Michaela Morari. I'm a solution consultant in Appian, and in the next 15 minutes, I would like to show you an example of a use case implemented with the Appian low-code platform. So the use case that I will showcase to you, it's related to the insurance agency portals. So let me step into the slide, where typically in this use case, we have the agent, of course, and the underwriter that do not see the same data because they normally work on silo system. And furthermore, when an agent has the need to deal with a customer, maybe to create a new quote or to sell a policy, they don't have this 360 overview of the customer because the data resides on different systems, as you can see, CRM, policies, legacies, and so on. And also, this makes difficult the collaboration between the insurer, so the underwriter, on their book of business, and not having the data on a central layer, you cannot take advantage of some artificial intelligence, RPA, and machine learning algorithms that can brings you more insights, both for the agent to suggest maybe the next best product to sell or a next action to take, but also for the underwriter. So overall, we saw a trend of non-visibility into the end-to-end process, and I would like to jump into the demo to show you what Appian can bring to the table. So let me switch into the demo. What we are seeing here, this is a landing page for the agent. So the agent in this landing page can see information coming from different systems, but this is a unified layer. So this is built on top of the legacy system, on top of the CRM and other external information. And the main idea here is that me as an agent and the underwriter, we are looking at the same data. So I can evaluate my portfolio performance regarding the customer satisfaction. I can see how many customers I'm managing month by month. What is the monthly performance, and of course I can also see some information that are coming from the CRM, like the sell opportunities and the upsell opportunities. And from this context, I can take actions on the information that I can see. So I can trigger a process to establish a communication with my marketing department. And also, I can see different actions based on the role that I have into the organization. So what is the importance of having this unified view of different information? In this way, the insurer enables me to support better the customer by being proactive rather than reactive. So from this context, I can take all the actions that I need to take. Speaking about the customer, I think one important aspect is how I will engage with the customer. So let me switch in the insurer communication, where we provide a consistent omni-channel experience. So here we are integrating different channels, so we can see the phone. I can be reachable by phone, so on voice. I can be reachable by SMS or chatbot, or even from a customer portal. So we have an ongoing call. So if I go inside, there is a customer that is online and waiting for me to support. And when a customer calls, typically it can be identified based on the phone number or based on other information that provides during the call. But also I can use a lookup to search into an external database the information regarding the customer. And to create even more enhanced relationship with the customer, I can also start a video. So I can do a video with the customer, or I can also use some external system like Temasys system to maybe share the screen. When working with on a case with the customer, so while I'm on the phone with the customer, I can navigate into all the customer information. Okay, so if I move here, let me move here into my customers. I can search for a customer, so I can go here and pick up the customer I'm on the phone with. And while I'm in the phone with the customer, I can see all the information that helps me to work this case. No, so as my colleague mentioned before about Aviva, the problem that Aviva had was 22 different systems on which the agent should navigate in order to provide information for the customer. So in this case, what they did, they unified in a similar way to have all the information in one single place. So you can see general information like information regarding the billing history to see if this customer is paid on time or not, as well as information related to the products that are associated to this customer. But of course, you can then go in drill down and access more information. And typically, all this information resides on a legacy system or other external system. And this helps me to eliminate the data silos and to benefit the information that I already have into my organization. So the idea here is not to replace your investment, but to take advantage of the information that you have. So this helps me, of course, if I have all this information, it helps me to improve the customer satisfaction, and I can manage faster any request. So let me go back into my insurer communication where we were before, to pick again the customer, and let's simulate the fact that the customer in this case needs a quote, needs to have a new policy. So what I will do here, I will fill in a quote, and this is like a guided procedure that helps me to insert the information related to this customer. So you can see I would like to cover this coverage for the existing customer. I will provide a licensing number and all the details that are requested. You can see some information already here, because when you search a customer, you will have all the information that you need, but you can also enrich the information with other details and so on. So let me go ahead. And once we are going ahead, there are other information. So like the type of the car that we want to insure. In this case, maybe this is a new car make. So what I can do, I can also communicate in real time with the underwriter, so with the insurance company, in order to ask if they are doing this kind of insurance. So while I'm on the phone with the customer, I can also enhance a collaboration with the insurance company. So let me provide more information. Phantom, I think it's a right model. Here we can put the different information, like is the primary use of the car, how many miles you supposed to drive every day, and let's say the start day of the coverage, and where the car is regularly stored. So these are all information that helps me to calculate, that helps Appian to calculate the best insurance. There are also some other information that the customer can be asked, but as also my colleague said before, Appian is a platform, so you can enrich with all the information that are needed based on your use case. So let me just insert the last information of the customer, the email, and a phone number. So there are some fields that you can see that are mandatory in order to help me to proceed. Of course, if the customer asks me some questions related to the coverage, I can also access some external information related to the car insurance plan policy summary in order to provide more details while I'm on the phone. And in the last step, I can see my quote. So regarding the quote, based on the information that were inserted, there are different quotes that are proposed, and the best one, the recommended one, is this one, which has more coverage. It is also more expensive. So in this case, let's proceed with this. The idea here is that once you create a new policy, this new quote will be automatically issued, unless it is flagged with some high risk item, in which case it will be sent a secondary review to the insurance company. And the idea is that no matter from the channel I work, if I'm on the phone, if it's SMS, the data is immediately available to everybody. So to the customer, to the agent, and to the insurer. I will switch now the persona. So I will not be an agent, but I will be a customer. So imagine as a customer that you have a self-service portal where you can track your payments, you can report claim, pay your bill, and so on. And I want to simulate the starting a claim. So I may have some little incident with my car after a few months, and I want to report a claim. So there are several ways to do it. So I can have a policy report on hand or not, and based on this, I will decide how I can proceed. Let's proceed with the policy report hand, because it's more rapidly, and I will explain you also why. And here, so let me attach the document. So let's suppose the police come and fulfill a module, and I also add some photos of the damaged vehicle. Okay. So while I am fulfilling my claim based on the information that I've inserted, here we are connected, we are integrated with the Leader AI system. So in this case, in particular, we are using the optical character recognition in order to convert the handwritten text and to make the data available in the system, so that without the need to reinsert it manually. So you just can go and extend the information, so you can modify it or add more information. And in case you are okay with this information, we can proceed. As well as we can leverage some Insurtech services and telematic, like this damage detection example, to give an instant damage analysis and repair estimation. So you can see here a cost estimation and the breakdown of the estimation by parts that will need to be replaced. So here you can see the different parts, the cost for part, but also some additional information like the closest body shop to buy this part. So let's submit our claim. And same here, once you submit an information, the data is available to all personas, so both for the agents and for the insurance. Other thing important for the customer is that typically everything you design in Appian is ready to use natively on tablet and mobile. So what I will do, I will access the same application also from mobile. So let me share my phone while I am accessing it. Okay. Here you can see my phone with the different apps, and you can see the Appian application. So this is an application that you can download from for iOS and for Android. So everything that you design in Appian, it's ready to use natively. You don't need to do additional developments to access this information. So from here we can see the same info. I can take some actions. I can, for instance, I can pay a bill. I need to pay my next bill. So while I'm in mobility, I can just go and pay my bill, as well as I can go and access all my open claims. So I have a few claims open, and I can go and access my claim to see all the details of my existing claim, and so on. So we saw two personas. We saw the agent, we saw the customer. Last thing that I would like to show you is the underwriter. So here we have the insurance company with 360-degree view of everything I care about as an insurer. So I can monitor my portfolio based on the segment. I can see my weekly progress. So how many codes, new codes, and how many policies were issued. If I have high-risk customer, and of course the claim backlog. I can also access the claims that were opening. So for instance, I can have my task, and I can access the claims that were just open. So if I go here, I can see the last claim that we just opened with some information. And here we also, this is another example of augmented information using AI, because here we have a recommendation if this is the case of a fraud or not. So based on the algorithm and based on the history of this client, this can provide me more insight information, and also to the team that will manage the claim to discover a fraud from the beginning and not take time to work on it and to spend money on the work of the claim. But also some reports. The main reports for the insurer, there are some overall business performance. So this is related to the claims opening by month, so the trends. But also one important thing is the visibility. So how the agents are working based on the vertical. So we have auto, home, and life. So I can see the quota achievement based on the target, but also the sales by agent. And of course, last but not least, some most recent quarter profitability by vertical, in which you can see vertical by vertical the amount paid for claims and so on. So this is just an overview of an example of collaboration between three personas. So these three personas are looking at the same data, and they can provide decisions and action based on the data. And this enables better collaboration, customer retention, and agents' productivity. Last idea for you to take away when working with Appian is that, as Gisbert showcased, there are three main pillars. There is the low code that quickly helps you to build from scratch an application, but also to adapt to changes and needs. There is a full stack automation process that puts together collaboration between people, between rules, artificial intelligence, and robots. But also you have the unified data that brings together a different system without the need to create a new legacy. So this is my overall presentation. For any other follow-up, please feel free to reach us directly. You can also ask questions after this session. And I hope this was useful for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm Gerardo. I'm the Vice President of the Italian Insurtech Association, and I'll drive you through the Q&A with our guests. I'd like to start with a couple of questions. The first one is for Gisbert. And you mentioned several times the word agile, a word that actually I love because I work with this philosophy and this approach. And okay, agile means also a kind of energy and dynamism inside an industry.
Yeah.
I know that Appian works in a lot of industries, okay, not only insurance. So my question is, which is your impression regarding the dynamism and the dynamics of the insurance industry in 2019 and 2020 in respect and in comparison with the other industries where Appian is involved, is engaged?
Well, it's a good question, and it's hard to generalize, obviously. I would say that, I'm from an insurance background, as you know, and I tend to talk in the we, but insurers are by nature risk averse, right? And that's where that's how we earn our money as insurers. So the insurers are more cautious, and they look at, so then in that sense also potentially a bit slower in making decisions, right? We have customers, for example, also in banking, and without, I'm generalizing now a bit maybe, but they are maybe leapfrogging quicker into spending money in innovation a bit. So that's in general, I would say. And I think, compared to telematics, utilities, the insurance industry is a little bit behind, I would say. We still have to do a lot of work. But, let's catch up and invest in technology, I would say.
Cool. Okay, so let's move on. Basically, you say it in a very elegant way that is not an early adopter industry, the insurance one, but okay, we will have time.
Well, and also maybe to add is that, we talk a lot about legacy in a sort of potentially negative sense. I mean, it's also, in the insurance industry is also has to be proud of their legacy, right? They have a lot of customers, they serve them well. But now we need to make sure we become more agile and be able to innovate.
Yeah, and for sure, let's call the wrapping or the glue strategy, the one that Appian used in order to capitalize the several databases, is something that it's very coherent, with this kind of lecture of the market. And speaking of market, my next question is for Paolo. Paolo, you mentioned, first of all, congratulations for your recent deal in Poland. And speaking of international, you mentioned a lot of market, no? Poland and Japan, and hopefully soon Italy. And my question is, machine learning, deep learning, AI is amazing technology, okay? But it's not a plug-in technology. You need a lot of work in order to build up a data set that actually can work in a determined environment. So my question is, which are the main challenges when you approach new market? Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. So you're right that when you go to new markets, even from purely there is technology, which is the AI, and then there is workflow and use cases. And when you go to new markets, both of these might be different. So with regards to AI, and basically, the way you repair a car in, say, Poland versus Italy, there are definitely differences at national levels. For example, in Italy, it's very clear that there are certain standards that are generally set forth by companies such as Domus and Ania. And there is really one way of creating estimates, which is quite different to say what is the same approach in Poland. Now, the good thing is that we have been through this process several times. And, general approach is whenever we're going to new markets, and this is what we're doing right now, the first phase is a phase of what we call calibration or fine-tuning of the model. So every time that we're going to a new market, we need to appreciate the differences of the market in terms of repair standards and methodologies, and actually fine-tune this model. And the way we do this, I guess we've gotten pretty good at it because we've entered into 13 different markets now, is that we get a small data set from the client, and then we work with, say, peritos from the given country to also qualitatively fine-tune the models. So there's definitely a challenge in adapting the models, but it's something that we really take seriously. And at the beginning of a project, particularly when we enter in a new market, that's what we do. And then, of course, there is also the difference in terms of use cases and workflows. And what I would say there is that our technology is not something that you plug and play. There is always a process of customization. And particularly when we enter the market with big accounts, we work like design partners to build solutions that work for a given market and a given workflow.
Yeah, so let's say, in other words, that it's very important to enter in a market together in entering an ecosystem, and not alone like a unique, in a bulk and very bold way, but in a kind of harmony and integration also with other stakeholders. And I think that is a very big common point between Appian and Tractable, and probably the reason why both of you are part of our association and you work together with the market. And Michaela, I have a question for you, and regarding your demo. And in my company, I work in the development team, so I spend my day and my night to make analysis of process of data, and try to be sure that all the data set and all the database are clean and not full of the structured data. Let's call it this. I saw the demo, and I can see under the demo, under the software, a mountain of analysis that someone has to do in order to develop and to put on the ground the software. Can you explain us a little bit better the stage between the engagement of the customer to Appian and then the deploy of the back end, of the front end of the solution?
Yes, sure. So what typically happens is that our customers transversally, not just an insurance industry, transversally, the main pain of our customer is that they work on silos. So the point here is not to structure the data, but the point here is to help the customer to access their different systems. So the customer already have 5, 6, 7, 11 systems. And what Appian does, it creates on layer on top of this system by using native integrators. So even we have native connectors, even we use REST APIs in order to enable the customer to connect with his data. Once we did this, the customer, in order to, instead of going to different system, it will go to one platform in which he can access the different data. Of course, so in the phase of last idea.
Phase one, integration with the customer database and the software itself, or the customer APIs, or whatever tools he uses in order to expose his data.
Exactly. It's a matter of identifying together with the customer which is the data that you need to connect with. And then we work on the connection in order to provide the layer with all this information in one single place. So you don't need to create a new legacy. You don't need to replicate the data to create a new data silos. No, you go and connect directly to your existing data.
Yeah, again, the concept of gluing and wrapping data. Okay, very clear. Thank you so much. Of course, if someone has some question for our speaker, let's put it down on the chat, and I will report it to them. And I have just another question for Paolo. I can read a lot about the application of blockchain technologies to the claims process itself, no? And not all about the claims, of course. Also, blockchain is a kind of buzzwords in our industry in the last years. So my question is, which is your opinion regarding the integration of blockchain technology within the claims workflow? I cannot hear you, actually. Paolo?
Okay, you should be able to hear me now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sure.
So I said it's going to be a short answer in the sense that, one of the approaches that we have taken at Tractable historically has been, let's stay focused on the task at hand, which is, that of developing computer vision algorithms. So we have invested a lot in our core technology, which is, machine learning and computer vision. But I would say that so far we remain very focused on that, and we have not explored as much, for example, like other technologies such as blockchain. So for now, I don't think that we have a company view about this. We are very much focused on getting this one single task right, which requires actually 100% of our focus, and that is that of developing computer vision algorithms.
So you don't believe in blockchain?
Until now, we haven't found an application of it that fits within our end-to-end, but you never know.
Clear. Thank you so much. Actually, I've studied for a while blockchain within the Linux Foundation, the Hyperledger project, and at the end of my path of study of the technology, I have also some doubts about the application of blockchain in our industry. I think that sometimes it's like to try to I don't know. I mean, it's a very powerful tool for a very streamlined process. So why to use it? So that's my point basically. So thank you so much to all of you. I don't know if there is something that you would like to add to your speech and to the question that I raised to you.
Maybe I would like to add that when you asked Michaela about the speed of development or the complexity beneath it, but I think what Michaela showed is something that was developed in weeks rather than years. So because of the use of our low code capabilities.
Yeah, can you give us a little bit more about the concept of low code?
Yeah, so I thought that was also your question a bit. Well, the thing is that we've got low code in terms of UI. That we invest a lot of like the components of UI and the elements of business rules, and so when we develop an application with one of our customers, we bring business and IT together, and that's, you can have daily stand-ups, right? You can really develop something in weeks, like we did for Aon, the claims intake, we did it in 8 weeks, and we over-delivered actually in the scope. So you can really, because we have invested in these objects already, and if you want, you can design your own Lego block, your own object, but that's because we invest in that so much, and we have an upgrade every quarter. So we're now on 20.4, like year 2020, and then the fourth quarter. So you get these upgrades like every quarter, and that's so you get new Lego blocks and more rich Lego blocks. So we just give you all the tools to build quickly.
Yeah, it's very clear. I think that low code concept and agile concept are very close. No, it's something that go really together. Personally, I'm a fan of Ruby on Rails as a development frameworks, and one of the main rule of Ruby is never repeat yourself. No, do not repeat yourself. It is something also to the low code. No, you do not waste time on coding a lot of code line, but just be essential in the coding and reuse the code the much as you can.
Yeah, and make sure that when you need to change it, you can do that quickly as well, right? That's where the real power comes in.
Yeah, be flexible. I think speaking of these, let's say, this direction of the technology world, I deeply think that competence and capability to understand the big picture of technology inside your company will be a key factor in the future. No, I mean, if you don't bring this kind of consciousness inside the board and where you take the decision, it's very difficult to put on the ground an effective strategy. I mean, you risk to waste money. Point number one, you risk to waste time, and you risk also to lose how can I say efficiency, of the machine if you're not aware about this kind of aspect of a technology in a broad mean. Okay.
Yeah, but we always advise our customers, like, start small, because your organization has to learn your whole processes. It's people, process, and technology, right? It's not just technology. So you have to start small, learn from it as an organization, and then move on and build more.
Yeah, I think that it's very, very stepwise. So thank you so much for your time. And this webinar has been recorded and will be published on our YouTube channel and our website. And yeah, see you to the next IA talks. Bye bye.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye bye. Ciao.